Welcome to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft, the founder and CEO of Judy Heft and Associates, Financial and Lifestyle Concierge. This year, she's celebrating 27 years in business. In every episode, Judy interviews professionals who help others successfully manage their financial lives. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Judy is the author of 2 books, How to Be Smart, Successful, and Organized with Your Money for a Better Today and Tomorrow, and her latest book, Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles, How to Successfully Manage Money in Every Decade of Life. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of the show at www.judithheft.com. Now, here's the host of Mastering Your Financial Life, Judy Heft.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 92 of Mastering Your Financial Life. I think that means I've been doing it for almost 3 years, so I'm pretty excited. Really thrilled to have Anora Gaudiano here today as my guest. She's a CFP at Wealthspire Advisors, and she's an award-winning financial advisor. She specializes in creating financial plans that fit her clients' needs, their unique needs, and keeps them. Well, she helps them navigate issues from retirement to estate planning and everything in between. She contributes articles on personal finance to Bloomberg. I want to hear all about that, Anora. And then she volunteers at the Financial Planning Association and providing pro bono advice to those in need. So help me welcome Anora today. Thank you, Anora.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Thrilled to have you. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is the emotional relationship that people have with money. And I always say money is not just dollars and cents. It's very emotional, and it can just cause rifts between families, or especially if someone's contemplating a divorce or whatever the case may be, or dealing with children. I studied to be a coach, a money coach for a little while. And I really learned a lot about myself because I had to go through the process myself and about how other people see money. And I just find it so interesting. So how do you deal with people or work with people to help them when they come from their childhood with these emotional issues around money? They have fear around it, or they're spendthrifts, or whatever the case may be. There's so many different types. So how do you deal with that with clients, Anora?
Yeah, well, it's a very interesting question, and I agree. Money is very emotional. I have, my philosophy in life is that every life decision is a money decision, and every money decision is a life decision. So it's, money is part of our society. We evolved this way. We created, societies where it's essential to have resources to lead a good life. And it starts really early. Everything we learn about money, we learn from really early childhood. And your first relationship with money is really between your parents and yourself. And it can be as early as, 3, 4, as soon as you understand that, there's something called money that brings you joy by buying things, presents, etc. I understand that emotional attachment, having grown up at a different culture, different settings, and now dealing with, affluent people as clients. It's, I bring a different kind of view into money and how to spend it and how to save it. So I have clients who range between those who need nudging to spend because they have money and they're afraid to spend it, and those who really probably should rein in their spending because they need to save to secure a future that is financially secure. So and sometimes I feel as an advisor, when we have client calls, as someone who permits people to do things that they really should be able to decide on their own, but really need help deciding, right? Whether it's, can I go on that vacation I really wanted because I don't know if I have enough money, or, can I fix the leaky roof or really, how much I should save so that I can retire sooner.
It's really interesting too. I had a client one time, excuse me, a very wealthy elderly man. He was probably in his mid to late 80s, and he was very, let's say, frugal and conservative with his money. And every year around January, he would be in panic mode as to what he was going to gift his children at the end of the following year. He'd start in January and worry about it for 12 months. And he had plenty of money, but he couldn't give it up. And I don't know if that was the way he was brought up, if he was a child of the Depression, or what the issue was, because he was really very comfortable and he could do whatever he wanted, but spending money was such a problem for him. It was difficult. It was a difficult thing for him to do. So you really see everything. And then you see the client that has no money and they're spending it very frivolously. I remember one time I had this client also. It's a different situation, but her mom passed away and she inherited a large sum of money. And she was so excited. And she said to me, Judy, can I buy that Chloe handbag I want now? I'm like, go for it. It's really interesting that people put emotions around money. It really triggers a lot of bad memories and good memories, all different kinds of memories.
Yeah.
It's an interesting conversation.
I feel like people get attached to numbers as well. Because we as financial advisors, we have services, so we manage people's portfolios and we review them, usually quarterly, and they see graphs, they see numbers all in one, that like net worth, and they get attached to that. And I remember I had a client who just was, for her it was important that her portfolio was above certain number, and it was kind of interesting to observe why that number is important. Really, maybe it does not really mean that as much as you think it means.
That's so true. That's really interesting. So then what about I like to use the word spending plan instead of budgeting. For me, budgeting is like a 4-letter swear word. It's very intimidating. It kind of puts people off. So we try to work with people and create a spending plan for them in this way. But I've also had clients come to me and say, I don't want to do that because I'm afraid that you're going to tell me I can't buy this, or I don't want anybody to see. It was a client, for instance, that was spending money on plastic surgery and cosmetic surgery, and she didn't want anybody to judge her. I don't want anybody to tell me I can't do that, which is not my role. I'm not really in a position to do that. I'll help you figure it out and I'll help you stick to it, but I'm not going to be your babysitter. So, we were talking about, money being so money being so emotional. Now I can't even talk. Emotional. And, people have these emotional relationships with money. And I know that, I don't like to use the word budgeting. I prefer to say spending plan, that we've created a spending plan for somebody because it's less daunting. I feel like budgeting is like a swear word to some people. It really pushes them away. And so how do you work with people when they want to come to you and they'll say, I need to create a budget, but I don't want you to, come down on me if I'm going to go off the budget. I don't want you to babysit me. And how do you work with people when they need that structure?
Yeah. We rarely do budgeting, and if we do, it's only for us to know what the spending is. It's for the clients to tell us what they want to spend instead of us telling them what they should spend. And the plan actually helps show them whether they can afford it or not. And the financial plan is the backbone of what we do. All of our decisions about the portfolio management, the allocation, what kind of investments they should be in, really depends on what kind of plan they have, whether they're still saving and growing, or whether they're already retired and spending down their portfolio, and what their spending is. So the variables, and the biggest variable in our view is how much they spend. So if they can control that, we can show them. The plan can either be extended for longer time, or they can actually afford it, or not, as the case may be. So yes, budgeting is a little bit of a kind of a negative word. We don't tell them that they should spend less on something or more on something. It's more of for us to say, well, you're spending. You can spend, let's say, $200,000 a year or $100,000 a year, and it's a big difference. You can, if you save a little bit more each year between now and retirement, you can achieve that goal. If you don't, your spending will be less. Or if you continue to spend the way you're spending, if you're already in retirement, let's say, you will run out of money at some point. And we at the end of the day, they have to decide what they're gonna spend it on. But it is true. Yeah, we try not to really tell them how to spend the money. It's more of a whether they should or they should. And sometimes more often than not, I actually tell clients they should spend more. They have they have enough money, enough resources to see them through, enough to leave to the heirs, and now's the time to enjoy it. Maybe they should take that trip. Maybe they should buy that thing that they wanted to buy.
It's interesting. True. That's so true. There's so much fear around money, whether it can go either way, like telling people to spend it or telling people not to spend it. Everybody's different and they have their own comfort level. So let's take a little break now, and then we're going to come back and talk some more. We're here with Anora Gaudiano, CFP at Wealthspire.
Hey there. I just want to tell you a little bit about my new book that just came out called Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles. And here it is. It's how to successfully manage your money in every decade of life. I co-authored this with my CFO, Liz Levy. And together we created this manual that's going to help you through every stage of life. We talk about having a baby. We talk about young adulthood, pre-retirement, what to do when you're at that age of retirement. If you're contemplating divorce, do you need an estate plan? We cover all of these, each subject in a different chapter. And I really think that you're going to find this so helpful, because at the end of every chapter, we have checklists that you can look at and you can use, and they can be a guide for you. So this is a wonderful manual that we've created. It's available on Amazon. You can also find it on our website at judithheft.com/book. And we're here for you. If you need anything, reach out. I hope you enjoy the book. Here's another picture of it, just so you know what's going on. Here it is. And I'm really proud of it. It's my second book. And I'd love to have you read it and give me your feedback. Judy Heft, judithheft.com, financial and lifestyle concierge, celebrating 26 years in business. And over the years, I've learned so much. And what I've been trying to do is impart a little bit of this knowledge to you, so I can help all of you become as financially organized as I am.
And we're back here. We're back here with Anora Gaudiano from Wealthspire. So, we talked about how emotional money is, because we all know it's very emotional. It's not dollars and cents. And then I like what you said money. What did you say? Money is a life decision and life is a money decision. I never heard that. And I thought that made a lot of sense to me. And then we talked about creating a spending plan and doing some budgeting, but then there's saving, like how do you guide people when they want to save? Maybe they're saving, maybe they have young children and they need to worry about, or not worry, but be concerned about saving for college or a private school, whatever the case may be. Or maybe they're a little older and they want to help their grandchildren in college, or maybe help their grandchildren buy their first house, something like that. Or, maybe they're saving for retirement, they're at that age. So I think it's really, there's all different levels here. And I think one of the most important things that I've learned over the years, I think you need to save for your retirement first and then worry about your children. But I don't know how you feel about that. And how do you advise clients in that department?
I agree. The I've had I think I've been interviewed about that, and it's a topic: should you save for college for your kids or for your retirement? And I always thought, okay, ideally you will do both, right? You have good earnings that you can do both. But if you have to choose, I would always say choose your retirement, or choose yourself, because it's at the end of the day, the retirement is something very personal, very you. It's not like somebody can do it for you, right? Yes, there's Social Security, government, pension in that sense, but that's probably not enough. So my kind of reasoning for why prioritize yourself is what kids grow up, they have more opportunities to get, do well at school, get scholarships, get loans. They can actually, borrow to go to school and then pay it off in their lifetimes. But if you don't save for yourself and you spend all of your money on your kids' education, and they drop out anyway, you end up with kind of an empty, retirement nest egg. So, and you cannot borrow from anybody to finance your retirement. So, yes, definitely save for retirement for yourself. And the other analogy I give about that is that, how when you're on airplanes and they tell you about all the safety things and they say, put the mask first on yourself and then on your children to help them, because you have to be able to help somebody else. You have to be financially secure yourself. That's how you can help other people. So in putting children through school is that it's you helping them to go to college and be educated and ready for their adult life.
That's so true. And you don't want to be in a situation where you haven't saved anything for your own retirement, and then your kids are getting out of college and here they are having to support you and take care of you. That can put undue stress on your relationship with them and on yourself too. It's just not a healthy situation to be. I'll tell you, my kids had to get student loans. I was in a situation where I didn't have the money to prepare and help them. I paid whatever I could. I got Parent Plus loans. I was definitely struggling financially, and my kids had to get student loans and they paid them off. And I don't feel guilty about that at all. I really don't. I know some people think that's not the way to go, but I think it's more important to take care of myself at this point. I don't want to be retired and have my children, who are adults now, have to be taking care of me because I didn't save for myself. So I think that's really an important situation. And then you get the clients also that come to you with like lots of debt. They have lots of money, but they don't pay their cards on time, or, they're really stuck. I was talking to someone the other day, a young woman that I know, and I said to her, do you pay your credit cards off every month? And she said, well, I pay the minimums. And I said, well, what kind of credit card debt are you carrying? And she told me $20,000 on one card. And my eyes I didn't want to be too judgy, but I was thinking, that's a lot. And she said, do you think that's a little or a lot? And I said, I think it's a lot. Let's try to get that paid down for you so that you can start saving some money instead of putting all that money to credit card debt. And then the other piece of that is also that I've found out that, I've seen that, you buy something, you get a great bargain, you buy it on sale, but you're charging it and then you're paying all that interest on it. So you end up paying more than you would have if you got it for regular price. So how do you deal with people that come to you in that situation?
So most of our clients don't have that issue. Right? The clients that we're dealing with, most of the time, they have enough resources and they have ample, amounts of money to pay off credit cards and finance their lifestyle. Usually I see this kind of debt problems with my pro bono clients. These are the kind of mostly disadvantaged individuals who cannot afford financial advisors, so they come to the sessions to seek help. And I ask someone whose annual income is, let's say, $40,000, and they have a $20,000 credit card debt. That is unconscionable. I see the numbers, and I cannot really understand how that happened. How do you let those impulses get to the point where you charge and rack up this much debt when you know that your earnings just don't cover that. It's hard to not be judgmental in cases like this. I do everything that I can not to be judgmental, because I understand sometimes we all have problems. We make decisions that are not particularly great. We end up in this hole. I try to explain to them that, what they need to do to get rid of this debt, to, budgets on spending, pay it off as soon as possible, because at that point, they're paying the highest interest rate that is out there, which is, in the 20s, and at 20, 25%, and sometimes 30% APR on a credit card. That's unconscionable. Like, if you, as an investor, if you wanted to go someplace and earn that kind of income? You couldn't. You just wouldn't. It doesn't exist. Your stocks won't give that to you, on a regular basis. It's very hard to get those kinds of returns. And what I usually tell people with that kind of credit card debt, I play on their emotions and I say, listen, so when you pay this kind of interest, it is somebody's income. Somebody is making money off you. Whether it's a credit card companies, whether it's some other investors, somebody is making you rack up this debt and then keep paying that enormous interest rate that comes to them as income. So think about that and think how you are subsidizing somebody else's lifestyle. So that usually gets a very good reaction. They start thinking about the credit card debt in a different way because it's kind of a, you can call it an exploitation of sorts, right? You let somebody, buy up, get into debt, and then pay, and then they're kind of forever tied to paying it off. I don't want to use the strongest words, but that is exploitation in my view. So that usually helps. And yes, there are rules about pay off the highest interest rate credit card first, and then go down the spectrum. But at the end, people need to be disciplined too if they want to get their finances in order.
That's a good way of looking at it. Well, this was a great discussion, Anora. Thank you so much for being my guest today. I really learned a lot. I hope our listeners did too. How can they find you?
They can find me at Wealthspire.com. The firm is the Registered Investment Advisor. We are all full fiduciaries. We welcome your feedback, your opinion, and reach to us if you need help with your finances.
Thank you. And I'm sure you're on LinkedIn. They can find you on LinkedIn too, correct?
You can find me on LinkedIn, correct.
Terrific.
Google,
Thank you.
my name. I'm reachable.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a great guest today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you for inviting me. I have enjoyed as well. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of the show at www.judithheft.com. Thank you for your positive comments and sharing this show with others.